What the fuck is up, Denny's?
Denny's.
Welcome, everyone, to the Hecate's Doorway podcast.
Welcome. Hope you get to enjoy today's episode with nice coziness and get some coffee or some hot chocolate.
Yes. It is officially spooky season.
Woo!
Fuck that summer shit, dude.
Spooky, scary skeletons.
Copyright strike.
Is it copyright?
I have no idea, actually. As we're gonna find out.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, we are your hosts. My name is Brandon.
And I'm Gabriel.
And today, we are kicking off spooky season officially with an episode all about vampires.
Vampyre.
A vampire. We're going to talk about vampires throughout history. Not a serious episode, nothing... Well, I mean, there might be a little bit at the end, but...
We'll see.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Vampires, like most of our iconic horror monsters, weren't always what most of us think of when we hear the word. A lot of the common tropes that we now associate with vampires come from a mix of movies and old myth. Today we'll be going through the evolution of the vampire throughout myth and pop culture. Now, much like most things of myth, pinpointing the exact beginning of such things can be, and usually are, impossible. There are plenty of creatures that predate the vampire that have similar characteristics. Before any form of the word was used to describe a type of creature, blood and life force draining creatures can be found all over ancient myth. Often labeled as demons, revenants, or other evil entities like the Vatala of Hindu folklore or Empusa of Greek myth.
Empusa.
Give some of that Empusa.
Give me that pusa.
Say please.
Oh, please.
Okay. But for the sake of this episode, we won't be going into any of those, as our main focus today is only the vampire.
Vampyre.
We won't be talking about all the derivatives, all the We're just getting straight into the meat. But just keep it concise and clean. We're just going to talk about the vampire.
So, in the late 17th century, we began to see tales of what we now know to be the earliest descriptions of vampires from the Greek librarian of the Vatican, Leo Attalus.
It's Greek, man. Who knows how the fuck you say it?
Leo Atlas in 1645 in his book on certain modern opinions among the Greeks. We see the first description of the vampire amongst Balkan myths, These tales would make their way to Germany and England, where they would further mold them into the beginnings of our interpretations of the vampire. From what's now Croatia in 1672, we got a report of a village in panic as a belief that a villager by the name of Jorge Grando, I'm not sure if I say that right, I'm sorry.
I don't know, it looks like a Star Wars name.
So, yeah. Jorge Grando had come back from the dead to drink the blood of the people in the village and sexually assault his widow in the bedroom after his death from an unknown illness in 1656. Jorge may be the first person to ever be labeled as a vampire as we know them today. He is also called a Strigoi. Some of the villagers began to hunt the vampires. One villager by the name of Michal Radek attempted to pierce his chest with a hawthorn stake, though it only bounced off its chest. I wonder why. You got the ribcage right here, my man. You gotta put more force.
You gotta stuff it.
The following day, a group of 9 found Jorge's grave to unveil what they described as a perfectly preserved corpse, the smile on his face. A saw was taken to Jorge's neck, and then it said once they began to saw, blood poured from the wound, and Jorge himself screamed out as they decapitated him.
Yep.
Damn.
And they just straight up decapitated him. From this time, we have many different reports of a death, followed by sickness and death amongst the deceased's relatives. and when the initial dead's coffin is opened, the corpse is found bloated as if it were full of blood. Vampires at this time were just... Yeah, that's it, folks.
I had to do that once, maybe a few more times here and there. But
Is that what you were trying to do this whole time?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, you bitch.
Keep going.
Vampires at this time were described as plump and reddish, as opposed to the pale, gaunt vampires we know today. And the rational explanation to this is attributed to the lack of knowledge on how the body decomposes and of disease.
Oh boy, did that. They did not know shit about that.
No, they fucking didn't.
You think they were releasing a corpse decay over time?
No, this was the time when they thought, like, putting a frog over you when you were sick would, like, absorb the sick.
Yeah, true.
They're fucking idiots back then.
True.
As after death, one part of decomposition process is for the body to purge its fluids, which will result in the body looking plump and red as the blood and other fluids leave the body. Plump. Corpse be looking plump, though.
Them cheeks be looking really plump, boy.
Damn, boy, he thick. All of you, I'm gonna need a minute. Many times, blood is seen leaking out of the mouth as well as other parts of the head. And as far as disease goes, knowledge of how it all works was basically non-existent at the time. So, when one member of a household gets sick, no precautions would be put in place to prevent the spread of the disease, which would slowly take other members of said household, which would be blamed on the living dead. So, you know, someone got sick, they died. Of course, the rest of the family is going to get sick and die. But they was dum-dums and didn't know that.
Yep.
By the 18th century, sightings and the subsequent hunting of vampires were very common in most of Europe, beginning in 1721 in the area around Prussia. The first reported would be that of Petar Blagojevich. I have no idea if I said that right, but we're rolling with it. A peasant who, after his death in 1725, was believed to have come back as a vampire and killed 9 fellow villagers. Much like, how do you say that guy's name? Hore? Him. When Petar's coffin was opened, they found what were seen as signs of a vampire. The slowly or not at all decomposing body, hair and nails grown since his death, and blood flowing from the ears, nose, and mouth. This case is often credited as one of the earliest and most well-documented cases of what will become the conventional vampire. This pattern would continue to spread throughout Europe and would be known as the 18th century vampire controversy. This would continue until Austrian Empress Mia Theresa would make it illegal to open coffins of the deceased, and much of Europe would quickly follow suit. So that had to be a time to live in.
No kidding.
Doing it so much that they're like, yo, I'm gonna just stop y'all right now. No more opening coffins.
That shit's getting ridiculous.
That sounds like a witch hunt thing. Like,
oh yeah.
So imagine living in a time where people believed in vampires that much that everyone was just running around, like, opening coffins and cutting the heads off of corpses and shit.
Yeah.
That's insane, dude.
Imagine all the diseases and then airborne bacteria and whatnot. Airborne viruses that came from defiling a corpse. They probably breathe all that air.
Yeah, dude. That's so gross.
I wonder they were dying so quick.
It always weirds me out when, like, that era of time is, like, super romanticized.
Yeah.
You know, that was, like, one of the nastiest times to live in. Like, no one's bathing, no one's doing anything right.
Unless you're wealthy, but yeah.
God, even then, I mean, like, I guarantee they all had, like, rotting teeth and, like, fucking genital warts.
Ooh, genital warts.
Genital warts, everyone. Best kind of warts.
Just get some freezy stuff and just put them on your genitals.
Just freeze warts off your dick.
Just hope you don't freeze your dick.
911. Yeah, I was freezing off some dicks on my wart, and I accidentally froze and broke off my whole dick.
Dicks on your wart?
Dicks on my wart?
You have a wart?
There's dicks on my wart. It's turning into a person.
The next and probably most important stage in the making of the modern vampire would be, of course, Dracula. While vampire fiction has been written before, such as Bonnie the Vampire from the Penny Dreadful series, The Vampyre from 1819, and Carmilla from 1872. Are we going to do a story of Carmilla?
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna talk about pre-Dracula vampire fiction at some point.
Okay, cool.
Especially that one.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Things such as their ability to transform into bats, not including Mobius, to turn into wolves, and smoke comes from the Dracula tales, as well as the iconic Romanian noble look as it's so attributed to the creature. From Dracula, many different stories, both new and different interpretations of the story, and original stories would spark from Dracula. And thus brings us to the modern day era of the vampire.
Yeah, a lot of shit that we think about from vampires now comes from both the book and the movie, which was based on a play based on the book.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm kind of with werewolves, how Wolf's Bane and Silver and all this shit wasn't part of the lore until the Wolfman.
Yeah.
Things like transforming into fucking bats and shit wasn't part of that. And also, they were never depicted as attractive for the most part.
Nah, they were horrific beasts.
Yeah. Except for Carmilla. I think that was probably one of the first ones where they were depicted as something other than fucking Nosferatu. But yeah, we have Dracula to thank for all of that.
Yay. So now that we've gone over vampires and myths, let's talk about a few real-life vampires.
Real life. Heavy air quotes.
The first one might become a whole episode on its own. Serial killer Fritz Harman.
Oh yeah, that one's definitely gonna be a whole episode.
Damn, okay.
Yeah.
Fritz was a German serial killer who operated between 1918 and 1924 in Hanover and was responsible for the deaths of over 24 young men and boys. He was given his name of the Vampire of Hanover as his preferred method of murder was to bite through the necks of his victims. He was executed by beheading with a guillotine in December of 1925.
Yeah, that one's fun. A couple of these are probably going to be episodes in their own rights.
I guess I had to make sure in case he was an actual vampire.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, just in case. Let's behead him.
Let's just play it safe here, guys. Alright. The next is Hungarian serial killer Bela Kiss.
Such a cool name.
Bela kissed his dick. Bela operated in Budapest, Hungary from around 1900 to 1914 when he was drafted into World War I. Bela was responsible for the deaths of at least 24 women. He would put out ads claiming to be a widower looking for marriage. Upon bringing his victim to his home, he would rob and murder them, drain them of blood from their necks, and place them into steel drums of methanol to preserve them. After 2 years, Bela's landlord began cleaning out his apartment, assuming he was not coming back from war, and when he discovered the drums, he shot his pants.
I would too.
Bela was never found dead or accounted for as a POW, and has never officially been found since being drafted. So this motherfucker got away with murder.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of people back then did.
I hope he was just shot dead and obliterated so no one could count for his body, but he probably fucking escaped.
Who knows? There could have been a number of things.
Yeah. Alright. Next we have James P. Rivia. Not related to Geralt, of course.
No. That's probably a good thing.
Yeah. Who in 1980, when he was 23, repeatedly stabbed his wheelchair-bound grandmother before shooting her in the heart 4 times with gold-painted bullets.
That's personal.
And burned her house down.
Jesus.
He did this because he claimed he was a 700-year-old vampire. And in order to drink her blood, he had to stab the shit out of her and shoot her with gold bullets.
Of course, like any vampire should.
But, of course, he received life in prison.
No shit.
Yeah, so... Yeah.
I imagine he let out the rest of his vampire life and died.
Yeah, are you really... Yeah, we're gonna find out if you really are a vampire, are you? Oh, what's that? You died after 20 years? Huh.
I guess you're not one.
I guess that doesn't check out.
One I'm sure you all have heard of is Roderick Farrell. Farrell would go on to murder his girlfriend Heather's parents in Estes, Florida in 1996, so she could be initiated into Farrell's vampire coven. When he was arrested, he would go on to say that no one would be able to contain him, as he was an all-powerful 500-year-old vampire by the name of Virgos. Oh, Vasigo, my bad.
Vaseline.
Though that didn't seem to be the case, as he still sits in prison with life sentence. No shit.
Can't contain you, huh? Alright, Vaseline. Get ready for your fucking stint in prison. That was that one where, like, the fucking...
Yeah, I think I remember reading the news on that.
Yeah.
Like, not back then, because back in 96, I was still a baby.
Nah, but they played the shit out of that. I remember seeing it on, Discovery or whatever when I was a kid.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these, though. There's definitely some that I didn't include in this that we're going to talk about just as episodes in their own, because they are fucked.
This also reminds me of the time where the one girl saw Twilight and decided to freeze her period blood to turn her boyfriend into a vampire.
You ready for some sketty dinner?
No, I don't want... No.
Did you use ragu?
Why is this kind of chunky?
It's chunky and it's a little irony, isn't it?
Why is it slimy?
You know, I'm usually okay with cheap spaghetti, but
this is taking it to a whole nother level. You made some homemade sauce, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was homemade, darling.
Yeah, I made some homemade sauce.
Imagine how many meals he had to eat with that, not knowing.
Imagine finding out, like, oh my, like, it has nothing to do with periods, bro. Just, like, imagine knowing that you've been fed someone's fucking bodily fluids.
Just in the hopes that you could become a vampire.
You're just sitting down, eating your fucking lasagna. And she says, like, so, you know, all of these red sauce dinners we've been eating lately? And then, yeah, I just assumed you've been on a fucking Italian kick since we went to Olive Garden. Well, come look at the freezer.
No.
See all of this? This is my vampire period blood. You've been eating it, so you can be a vampire with me. It's just that scene from Family Guy where they all drink the Epitac. Just projectile vomiting for 5 minutes straight.
I love that scene. It's so fucking funny.
We're over. Fuck you.
Nope, we're done. We're out of here.
You keep everything. I am moving across country.
I'm moving. You'll never find me where I'm going. I'm going to the swamps of Louisiana.
Witness protection, please.
Oh, man. That poor dude's scarred for life.
God, I wonder... I never heard what the aftermath of that was.
I know, neither did I.
I'm going to look that up later.
That dude's probably cautious around every girlfriend he has now.
He's
probably checks the freezer 3 times a day. Like, the fuck is that? Oh, okay, it's just pepperoni.
Every time you go over to your new girl's place, just dig through a freezer. This is... I have to do this now. I have to.
Like, honey, what are you doing? Why are you doing that?
I said I will not eat spaghetti with you. That is my one rule.
Calm down. What happened? I'm traumatized.
I can't talk about it.
Maybe you read the news, though.
Do you think that was probably like the laughing stock of his town? Like, hey, look who it is.
Probably, yeah.
You going to the Olive Garden again?
Yeah, at that point, definitely move. Fucking pick a different state.
Watch her making fun of him and he actually killed himself.
Oh no, that'd be sad.
Addendum, we take back everything we said.
Jesus, I didn't think of that.
I didn't either. I don't think he would have. Like, I don't think I would.
No.
I would just move.
Yeah. Probably suppress it.
Suppress. As I have many times throughout my life.
Me too. Oh, then there's also the Vampire Sacramento.
Yes. There's Richard, Mr. Chase.
Chippy Chase?
Even though he didn't think he was a vampire. He just didn't think he had enough blood in him.
Yay.
He had to keep drinking blood. Yeah, that one was a weird one.
Yeah. Lastly, we'll talk about Alan Menzies? Menzies. Alan was obsessed with the movie Queen of the Damned. He borrowed from his friend, Thomas McKendrick. So obsessed, he believes that the vampire Akasha from the film was real and wanted him to murder to become a vampire. Alan returned to his friend Thomas, stab him to death before drinking his blood and eat a part of his brain. Unsurprisingly, he did not become a vampire, instead killing himself in prison barely a year into his life sentence. The bitch.
I get vampires are cool, bruh. Like,
yeah.
I'm listening to the fucking audiobook of Dracula, like, right now.
Nice.
But I don't understand these people. Like, how do you watch these things and be like, yo, this is real? This is like, these people have to be crazy.
They already have probably something unstable in their mind, and that just kind of pushes them more towards fiction becomes reality.
God, I fucking guess. I just couldn't imagine. Like the fucking Slendy girls.
Oh, I know, right?
Though I'm like 90% convinced that was a cop. And they didn't actually do it to appease Slender Man. They just did it because they thought it would give them a later sentence because they sound crazy.
Maybe.
I think we're probably going to talk about that one at some point.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot of theories could be behind that.
So I don't think they did it for that reason. I think they're just covering their tracks.
Yeah. As well as some we've covered in the past, like Hungarian Countess, Elizabeth Bathory. Elizabeth Bathory is always intriguing me.
Yeah, we're gonna redo that series and not just like re-record it, but like we're gonna like redo it because I don't like how it turned out.
Fair. Yeah.
I mean, like the first two episodes are fine just because that was just the history of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we won't.
We'll see.
I was so disappointed. Like that I will never again write a part and then record it and then write a part and record it because by the time we got to part 3, I was going like, all right, here's the big one. And it was just that scene from SpongeBob where he takes an hour and a half to write the. It's just like, maybe, but maybe not. But maybe, but probably not. Wow, this sucks. There's nothing here.
There's nothing.
Because, like, on the surface, you look that up, and it's like, everyone's like, oh, well, she's probably innocent because of this. And you're like, okay. But then you look into it, and that's literally it. There's nothing more to it. Because trying to delve deep into things that happened in, like, the 15th century is basically impossible. Because, like, it was 15th century.
Yeah.
And I think as I said this off recording, but from what I found, Vlad the Impaler has nothing to do with vampires.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, for one thing, when I looked into it more, and Bram Stoker, when he was writing Dracula, had like notes upon notes upon notes about vampire myth and all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
And apparently nowhere in there was any mention of Vlad the Impaler.
Huh.
Apparently he only chose Dracula as his name because he saw it in a different book and he thought it meant devil in Hungarian.
Ah.
And, I mean, we know that Vlad did impale people, but I mean, that has nothing to do with being a vampire.
Yeah, no.
I mean, he was...
That's just how he got his nickname.
Yeah, he was just, trying to be a ruthless guy to scare off the fucking... Was it the Turks?
I think so, it was the Turks.
Yeah.
He was trying to protect his people and whatnot.
That was basically it. I don't think... There wasn't really... The only stories of him drinking blood are just that of, like...
Made up to scare people.
Yeah, basically.
But you did a good job at that.
Yeah, I mean, we still talk about him to this day.
Yep. Again, there's the anime Hellsing Ultimate. Kinda loosely based. They have the vampire Alucard. But also, Dracula is just backwards.
Isn't that also from Transylvania? Or not Transylvania, Castlevania?
Yes.
You play as...
No, not House in Ultimate.
No, Alucard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you play as his son, who then turns out to be... he finds out he's Dracula's son.
Imagine just naming your son the backwards version of your name.
At least with Alucard it works.
Kinda, yeah. You just and then deliver him. Oh, I did not think of this. Oh, what do I name you? Oh, Alucard. Isn't that just your name backwards? Shut the fuck up.
It works, damn it. It works. He'll be a fierce guy.
Dad, why is my name Alucard? It fucking sucks.
Let's see. Yeah, I think that's it for today.
I think so. This wasn't meant to be super serious. It was just meant to be fun. Get y'all into the Halloween spirit.
Ooh, speaking of Halloween spirit, y'all should look up the band, if you don't know it, the band Nox Arcana.
Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting about them.
Nah, I can never forget about them.
That's
they are
one.
really good atmosphere setting music for spooky season coming up. Or really any spooky time.
I mean, it's all season spooky season, let's be honest here.
Exactly.
But yeah, so that was that one. As long as things go according to plan, don't quote me on this. Next episode is probably going to be heavy because I think this guy over here is taking selfies.
Yeah, send it to someone.
Should be writing a script on the Japanese suicide forest.
Yeah, I need to find a book on that.
That one's going to be hard to make jokes about.
Yep, I don't think we've been making too much jokes.
Probably not, so we had to get him out of the way now.
We don't want to be like Logan Paul.
You don't want to go to the forest and then pretend to find a dead body?
Nah, not this time.
Not this time. Next time. Then we might just talk about horror movies too.
Nice.
Because it's Halloween.
Exactly.
But I think that's going to do it for us.
Yeah.
I don't think we have anything else to say.
No, not really. I'm good.
Yeah.
Time to end this before we go on too long.
And thank you all for listening. As always, everything is going to be in the show notes if you want to follow us on Twitter for updates. If you want to email us for anything. If you would like to support us on Patreon, that's down there too.
Yee.
There's only one tier, and everyone gets a free... Well, I guess not free, you're paying for it. Everyone gets a tarot reading once a month. But yeah, there's that. Make sure to rate us 5 stars wherever you're listening.
Ooh.
If you rate us lower than 5 stars, well, it's not going to be a good time for you. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'm going to do something if you do that shit. So don't fucking pull that shit. Shut up, phone. But yeah, I think that's about it for us. So I guess we will sign off for now.
Bye.
Hail
Blessed be
Satan, everyone, especially in the era of Satan. I don't know what that means, but that's what it is. It's the era of Satan now, man.
I don't know what it is either. Who did make that up?
Let's get this going.